So yesterday we started analyzing graphs, and we started looking at 8th grade material, because even though we're in 7th grade, what grade is it that we're preparing for? Yell it out.
8th grade.
Right. So what I want you to do right now is turn and talk to your partner. When we analyzed those graphs yesterday, what were the 2 things that we were trying to find? Turn and talk. I'm going to give you 15 to 30 seconds. Go ahead.
Y-intercept, slope, and the negatives of a chart, and the positive.
That's a very well explanation. And on the do now yesterday, we figured out what slope was.
Yeah, we learned how what y equals mx plus b was, how
All right, I need everyone in a scholarly stance, tracking me in 5, in 4 with great posture like Oswaldo, in 3, great posture, 2, 1, 0. So I don't need you to tell me what those things are yet, exactly what they mean, but we looked for 2 things in those graphs yesterday. Can I have you raise your hand and tell me what were those 2 things that we looked for? Just tell me one, George. What was it?
the y-intercept.
So one thing we looked for was a y-intercept. And George, go ahead and call on the next person. Let's do a chain reaction. What was the other thing that we looked for? Go ahead.
And we looked for slope.
We looked for the slope. So right now, we're going to prepare ourselves to move on to the next concept today by completing the do now. So I'm going to give you 2 minutes to complete the do now. I want you to work with that partner next to you. Go ahead, get started. When you hear that timer go off, you know what to do. So make sure we're together.
The point of each line on the graph crosses the y-axis. So y-intercept is the M, B. The variety that represents the slope linear function. Isn't slope
I'm hearing some great conversations between you all. I'm going to add 1 minute to your work time. 1 minute.
B would be, I think B would be,
You guys will figure it out.
that represents a function of intercept form.
So how do you know that? How do you know these are all correct?
Because slope is the, because like we learned some of this in like we learned some of this in 7th grade, so
It's helping to prepare you for the next step. How do you think you know? I taught you. All right. All right. So I want you to try to think, how is that going to help you with this next part down here? Go ahead, get started on that.
No, it's 8.
Good work. I like the way you 3 are collaborating. Thank you to make sure to include everyone. You have about 1 minute left. When you hear that timer, you know what to do. We're not done. We're working on this part too. This is all now. Keep working. You guys got this.
I mean, 2.
I got the variable that represents the y-intercept of the linear function.
For 3, I mean, for the third one, I had 8, the 1.
Think of it. It's left to right. So this is
My timer's a little quiet. Go ahead and get in a scholarly stance and track me in 3, and in 2, and in 1. Thank you to those of you, great posture, showing me you're ready to go. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a chain reaction. I'm going to call on that one person, and they're going to call on that next person once we know that answer is correct. So what about slope? What do we think that the slope might be? Amir, go ahead.
well, Mians and I agreed that slope was C, the steepness of a line, the rate of change of y compared to x, and I used some of my background knowledge on the word slope.
All right, and if you agree with Amir, go ahead, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, go ahead, give me a thumbs down. If you don't know, show me you don't know. I see 100% of agreement. I completely agree with Amir. It is definitely C, the steepness of a line, the rate of change of y compared to x. So Amir, for B, we see B in quotation marks, but what actually is it? Amir, go ahead, call on that next person.
Me, United, and King said that it would be D, the variable that represents the y-intercept of a linear function.
If you agree with Nancy, you're going to slap the table once. If you disagree, stomp your feet. Go. I see 100% of agreement. Great work. That B, we said D, that B is the variable that represents the y-intercept of a linear function. So now that we know that, what actually is B? What is B? Or what is a y-intercept? Nancy, go ahead and call in that next person.
Robert?
The y-intercept is the point at which the line on the graph crosses the y-axis.
If you agree, you're going to give your neighbor a high five. If you disagree, stomp your feet. I see agreement. So it's that point at which a line on the graph crosses the y-axis. So now we know that y-intercept is B, but what is M? What is M going to be? What is M going to be? All right, go ahead and call on that next person.
George and me, we said that M is B, the variable that represents the slope of a linear function.
All right, and go ahead and show me if you agree. Give me a thumbs up. You disagree, give me a thumbs down. I see agreement, and I think that we're really getting it. So, Oswaldo, go ahead and call on that last person. If that's the case, we know what y equals mx plus b is going to be, but I want to go ahead and hear exactly what that person thinks. Go ahead. Go ahead and read that nice loud for me in a nice loud college voice.
It is the equation that represents a function in a slope-intercept form.
Perfect. So as a result, yesterday you focused on finding slope. You focused on finding y-intercept. And today we're going to take that skill to write an equation in slope-intercept form. But before we get into that, you also saw on your do now that you also had to practice finding that slope and y-intercept, because we cannot write that equation unless we're able to do that. So I want you to turn and talk with the person next to you and solidify your answers. Let's make sure we're correct. What do we think that the slope and y-intercept is for each of these, choosing from these answers to the right? I'm going to go ahead and give you 30 seconds or to a minute. Go ahead.
This one right here goes over 4 times because we have to find another point right there. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4. But then it goes down for the change in y. 1, 2, 3. So the change in y over the change in x. So the change in x would be 4, and the change in y would be 3, because x goes this way and y goes up, right? So once we divide them, that would be 70.75.
And so the slope.
But there is no answer choice for that, so we have to put
Because
3/4 down. And this one, the y-intercept is 1 because as soon as the linear, the line in the graph crosses the y-axis, it hits 1. But there's another point at 5 only, right there, right? So how much would we go up?
Well, this one's going down, and this one's going up because it's to the right, correct? So think about it. You know that. All right, I want everyone in a scholarly stance tracking me. I think we have a pretty good idea in 3, like Alexander with great posture, in 2, in 1, 0. So we had to identify the slope and y-intercept given these choices over here. If we look at this first graph over here, do we think the graph is positive or negative? If you think it's positive, give me a thumbs up. If you think it is negative, give me a thumbs down. If you think it is positive, give me a thumbs up. If you think it's negative, give me a thumbs down. I'm seeing majority negative. How do we know it's negative? How do we know that this graph is negative? Kendall?
I know that it's negative because it's going down to the right.
It's going down to the right. So if we wanted to find the slope, what do we think our slope might be in this specific situation? What is our slope going to be here? Alexander?
It's going to be D.
What is D?
D is -3/4.
Perfect. Perfect, because if the graph is negative, then the slope is negative. So go ahead and repeat that after me. If the graph is negative, then what? The slope is negative. Perfect. And then we're looking for the y-intercept. We're looking for the y-intercept. So what's the y-intercept? What do we think the y-intercept is going to be right here? Rashana?
The point where the line goes through the y-intercept.
The y-axis. So which one's that going to be in this on this first graph?
4.
It's going to be 4. If you agree, give me a thumbs up. If you disagree, go ahead, give me a thumbs down. I see 100% agreement. Yes, it definitely crosses the y-axis right there. So then right here, we look over here. What we see that this graph is going up, so this graph must be what? This graph must be what? Yell it out. Positive. Perfect. So what's my slope have to be in this particular situation? What's the slope have to be in this particular situation? Lisette?
4/5.
4/5, and my y-intercept must be what, Jacqueline?
1.
1. So now that we know this, let's go and move on to this last part so we can get into that challenge question for today. So yesterday, we talked about how each variable in slope-intercept form represents something. We saw it a little bit on the very top part, and I asked you to put a circle around the slope and a square around the y-intercept. So which variable is going to represent slope? What variable is going to represent slope? Zanaya? N by itself without the x, and what's going to represent the y-intercept? What's going to represent the y-intercept? Kenyon? B. So now that we've practiced this, we went through and we've looked at what we've done yesterday. I want you to go ahead and turn your paper over. And now we're going to try to see how this connects to what we're doing today. So there are a couple questions that I have for you, and I want you to work with your partner to find the answer using technology. First question, what is the process of representing a linear relationship with an equation that simplifies to the form y equals mx plus b? And then because we know we're preparing for the real world, where do we see examples of equations written in slope-intercept form in the real world? I'm going to give you 4 minutes to use technology, access that background knowledge, and work with your partner to find that answer. Go ahead. So are you just going to have Lois use his computer? All right, go ahead. Maybe put that computer in the middle so we can both see it. You can either share a computer or have them individually and compare what you find. But we got to see both of you working together and doing this. So you guys going to share? Hey. Okay, we can go ahead and use this one then. Go ahead. His is having a little issue too. It's okay. Use that one. These two are really... So what is the process of representing an equation that simplifies to the form y equals mx plus b? Where do we actually see examples of equations written in slope-intercept form in the real world? I like the way I hear Jacqueline and Lisette discussing the questions, talking to one another about the answers.
Well, this is what I found.
I like the way I hear Rashana and Adam comparing their answers. Let's work together. Keep working. All right, I need everyone in a scholarly stance tracking me in 5 and 4, like Lisette, who's leading by example, like Angela, like Yesenia, in 3, in 2, in 1, and 0.